It seems appropriate that we celebrate you, Menachem Mendel Berman, Mr. Bill Berman, as this tour portion is, of course, all about angels. And you have indeed been and continue to be an angel for our great community. As we continue to think about serving and guardian, it is my distinct pleasure to welcome home former Senator Carl Levin, who grew up here at Congregation Shaarey Zedek. Elected to the Senate in 1978, he served as the chairman of the Senate Armed Services Committee and chairman of the Permanent Subcommittee on Investigations. He served in the United States Senate for 36 years, the longest-serving senator in Michigan history. Time magazine named him one of the 10 best U.S. senators in 2006. He was instrumental in obtaining $56 million in federal funding for development of the Detroit Riverfront project. He helped the city of Detroit get a $12.2 million transportation investment generating economy recovery grant for the M1 rail line down historic Woodward Avenue. He's on the board of the directors for the Detroit Riverfront Conservancy, and through the Great Lakes Restoration Initiative, he sought to restore the environmental health of the Great Lakes. Mr. Levin was awarded the National Marine Sanctuary Foundation Leadership Award in 2014 for his efforts in Great Lake restoration. He led legislative efforts to protect the Great Lakes, including support for environmental restoration and preservation of the natural, historical, and cultural legacy of the lakes. The former senator played a leading role in the establishment of the Sleeping Bear Dunes National Lakeshore Wilderness in 2013. He led the effort to establish Thunder Bay National Marine Sanctuary with its hundreds of shipwrecks. And Mr. Levin is an avid supporter of the nonprofit civil rights organization Focus Hope. We are distinctly thrilled, honored, and blessed to welcome home to Congregation Shaarey Zedek our former Senator, Carl Levin.
Rabbi, thank you so much for the introduction, for your leadership here at Shaarey Zedek. It's a great honor to be on the bima with Bill Berman. It's a special moment, as a matter of fact, for me. And I know what that story was that he couldn't read. I'm sure it was a story about George Burns when he just turned 95. And George Burns was asked, what does it feel like to be turning 95? And he said, I look better than ever. I feel better than ever. I make love better than ever. And I'll tell you something else, I never lied better. No lie, Bill, you look great. I want to also thank Alan Schwartz and Hy Safran, the other co-chairs of this event. Alan is my leader down at Huntington, where I practice law, and the word practice is a very appropriate term for what I'm doing down there after being out of practice for 36 years. Sabbath service gives us more than an opportunity to practice our religion. These services are a time that we can reflect on lessons that we've learned on the road that our people have traveled. In a time of unspeakable horrors being inflicted on our brothers and sisters, human beings in Israel and around the world. The blessings of our relatively quiet land, as the rabbi reminded us, need to be relished every day. And the values of pluralism and tolerance, which have safeguarded our religious and personal freedoms in this blessed land, need to be defended with all of our energy. And what a community this Jewish community has become in America. I saw with wonder as a boy how our community comes together to educate our young, to provide good homes for our seniors, to care for our sick, to welcome our immigrants, to perpetuate learning and culture, to walk together for Israel or for other great causes. I watched my parents dream the Zionist dream, and I saw them actively participate in another great effort, and that is our Jewish community's outreach to other communities to turn our nation's diversity into a strength instead of allowing differences among our various peoples to divide us or to weaken us. I learned from my parents how respect for other faiths and people of other backgrounds can be liberating and, yes, fun. I've been lucky to know and at times to work with the amazing leaders in our relatively small Jewish community, the leaders that we have produced, community leaders, national leaders, who have led us to be active in the larger community of which we are part, to lead us to recognize the needs of all people for education and decent jobs and health care, nutrition, and physical security. Bill Berman is in the pantheon of those leaders whose caring and vision will continue to inspire the generations that will follow Bill. There are few facets of our life that Bill and Madge, his lifetime partner Madge and their family, haven't touched and left better with their touch. I cannot be in this place and at this time of our history without taking a moment to speak about the threat presented by Islamic terrorists whose horrific, monstrous acts have helped create the worst refugee crisis since World War II, and about the current political setting in America that has been spawned by that refugee crisis. A major candidate for president says that our government should keep a registry of people of a particular religion. We Jews have had firsthand experience with governments who do that. A bill was rushed through the House of Representatives in Washington this week with almost no debate, no opportunity to offer amendments. A bill which would require every single one of refugees from two countries before allowed to enter America to be individually certified by the Secretary of the Department of Homeland Security, the Director of National Intelligence, and the Director of the FBI. A process that would bring an already embarrassingly modest program of allowing 10,000 refugees here to a halt. Those statements are made and those actions taken, although we have the most robust screening of refugees of any country, including multiple identity investigations, biometrics and fingerprint checks, intelligence agency reviews, forensic testing of documents, in-depth, in-person interviews of each and every would-be refugee. We in our country have prided ourselves on our belief that people should be treated as individuals. As Dr. King said, judging people on the content of their character, not on what they look like, not on where they pray, and not who they love. Now, what does all this refugee bashing lead to? It leads to a girl in a headscarf being spit on because she's wearing a headscarf. Read yesterday's paper. That's right here, near where we live. It leads to the Muslim community, here, our neighbors, living in fear. And what does discriminatory stereotyping lead to? A propaganda tool and a recruiting bonanza for the terrorists, just like Abu Ghraib was, and just like the use of waterboarding torture was. Nations of the world and the communities of the world, Christian, Muslim, Jewish, Hindu, Buddhist, will have to find a way to act together against ISIS and other terrorists. The U.S. will need to help lead that effort. Given the history of our people, given the values of our people, I'm confident that our community and our leaders will be in the forefront of that effort to urge concerted action against those who would destroy us. And I'm also confident that we as a community will reject the political posturing that plays into the hands of the enemies of mankind and so diminishes America in the eyes of the people of the world who look to us for leadership. Congratulations, Joey, on a great, steady performance, and Shabbat Shalom to you all.
As a member of the generation who followed you growing up in this area, I can tell you that you were always one of the people that we admired, that we looked up to as a role model. You were a person who dedicated your life to serving others in your community of Detroit, the state of Michigan, and the country. You were engaged in the business of running our country at the highest level, at a level where decisions are made that affect the entire world. And as so many of your colleagues attested in their tributes to you on your retirement after 36 years in the Senate, even those who had disagreed with you on many issues, you always maintained the highest standards of honesty, integrity, and fairness. We honor you for all that you have done in your career of public service, but we also honor you today and thank you for maintaining a connection to this congregation. Not only have you been in this building on numerous occasions for so many events, but you spoke eloquently on the Senate floor about the congregation on the occasion of its 150th anniversary, a speech that is included in the program you received today, and also on other occasions, such as the passing of our beloved Rabbi Groner. 5 years ago, you were honored by the Jewish Theological Seminary at an event held here in this building. You and your brother Sandy spoke about your memories of growing up in the neighborhood of Shaarey Zedek on Chicago Boulevard, about the memories of walking to religious school, your memories of your bar mitzvah, and your memories of Rabbi Adler, and how you attributed all of your success to your religious school training at Shaarey Zedek. Actually, I confess I added the last part. In fact, I really had wanted to find your Hebrew school records. Mysteriously, they are missing. And I'm sure if you were on the Senate committee, still subcommittee of investigations, you would be looking into that. But today we want you to know that the members of our congregation will always remember you, and we will always be proud of you. You should know that it means so much to us that you grew up in this congregation, went on to the greatest of achievements, but that you have always remembered us and remained connected to us. As a way of further strengthening your connections to this synagogue, we wish to present to you today a framed copy of the Haftorah portion that you chanted on your bar mitzvah on our bima on September 27th, 1947.
I think people who heard my mafter wanted to forget it. Thank you.
And we also have one more gift, and this gift is a gift from the Jewish News Foundation. I see Arthur Horowitz is here to celebrate with us today. It is the Jewish News article where it says Levin is the state's first Jewish senator, and it was the article when you were elected to the U.S. Senate from the Detroit Jewish News. So we are grateful to the Detroit Jewish News Foundation for bringing that out and presenting that to you. Senator, our Torah makes very clear that there are angels operating in this world. And as our rabbinic tradition comes to teach, God imbues every angel with one specific purpose. But it's up to that angel to learn for himself or herself what that specific purpose God has given to him or her. Clearly, God has blessed you with the ability to serve God and country, to make our state better, and certainly the city of Detroit stronger. And we're so grateful to you for heeding God's call and doing everything in your power to make us a better people, a better nation, a better state of Michigan. Thank you so much, Senator, for everything that you've done.
Thank you so much, Rabbi and congregation. I'm glad you mentioned my brother Sandy, by the way, who couldn't be here. He was looking forward to being here, particularly because of Bill. And also, I want to mention, and forgot to mention, my wife Barbara, who is consecrated in Shaarey Zedek. She's 3 years younger than I am. I shouldn't even tell you that. She's a lot younger than I am. But I spoke to her last night. She had to be at a different event in Wisconsin, but she wanted to be remembered to what she still considers a family, a Shaarey Zedek family, where she had some wonderful, wonderful experiences she wanted me to emphasize. Thank you again for this honor.
Thank you, Senator. And of course, as we talk about angels, I want to wish once again a happy birthday and an Ad Mea V'Isrim until 120 to Congregation Shaarey Zedek and the Jewish people's Archangel, Mr. Bill Berman. Happy birthday, Bill.